Shalom, giving all praise to Yahawah, Bashem, Shai, Bashem, Qadash, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm watching Al Jazeera Live English. It just showed a picture of the morgue of a little baby dead next to a grown-up. It's definitely a massacre. So Bibi Netanyahu was lying when he said he's calling for genocide. The American media is not picking up on it. He quoted in part of the first book of Samuel, chapter 15. You can start at the first verse and read about 3 verses down. And it says to kill infants, kill babies, sucklings, toddlers, women, men, and he's calling them Amalekites because they believe that they're the Israelites, of course, but they're not. They're the Edomites, Amalekites. Amalek is just one of the grandson, actually, of E. They're the E's. They're the Edomites. The Palestinians are not the Edomites. But this is all prophecy. Anyway, let me go into my subject. I'm going to go into Micah chapter 5 and read the whole chapter because someone put a question in my notifications, and I did speak on it a little bit. He was talking about focusing on really the 3rd verse to the 6th verse, really like the 6th verse, 5th and 6th verse, and he was concerned about the 7 shepherds and 8 principal men, which represents 7 and 7, 14, 15 men, which really doesn't make any sense because there's no fulfillment of 15 men as a whole coming together. You know, you read about the church, the leaders of Israel coming out of Babylon. Babylon being taken down by the Medes, and ultimately the Persian. You had the Persian and Mede Empire, if you know that history. And it was Cyrus who made the decree that they should be financed. The Israelites be financed to rebuild the temple. You know, rebuild the Jerusalem. And so that's what it's talking about. So you had the leaders at that time. The chief leader was Zerubbabel of the tribe of Judah. He's part of the lineage of the Messiah. When you go into the lineage of Messiah, it mentions Zerubbabel, and then it mentions Joshua the high priest and the rest of the men. During that time period you had Ezra, but it doesn't say that they're 15 men. It just mentions men. I mean, I can do some numbers, put some numbers together, and it is talking about them, which, if there's 15 exactly, there's more than 15, but if there's 50 principal men, 15, at the end of the day there's really only 12, because everything is reincarnated. Reincarnation is biblical, so don't get bogged down with the numbers. So let's just read this from the first verse. We don't read the whole chapter. It's only 15 verses long. It says, now gather, oh, by the way, the headline is Birth of the king in Bethlehem, which is Yahawashi. It says, now gather. Now this is covering the prophecy of the Messiah coming and us in captivity, the Babylonian captivity, Assyrian captivity. Then the end of it, starting from this is getting ready to happen. So let's start from the first verse. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. Now you know what I want to do? I know what this is talking about, but I want to go see what the commentators say concerning this matter. And even the commentators, they say that that the Assyrians is not talking about the actual Assyrians. The Assyrians is this system that we're living in today. These are the modern day Assyrians, modern day Babylon. Okay, I want to go to commentator. Commentate. I usually go to the Bible Hub. I'm familiar with that one, but you have Enduring Word, you have Blue Letter has a commentary, Bible Study Tools, Christianity.com. So normally I go to Bible Hub, like I said, because I'm familiar with it. So let's go to Cambridge. Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. Transition from the prediction of Jerusalem's extremity during the siege to the messianic glories in prospect. Now gather thyself in troops, rather, now thou mayest gather. Assyria may marshal her hosts, may lay siege against the holy city, which the holy city represents the Israelites as a people before it's a place, may violate the person of the king, but from insignificant Bethlehem, right, Bethlehem was considered not a main city like, you know, Jerusalem or other places in Israel. Bethlehem was like a little remote place, also known as the house of bread in the Hebrew, Bayat Lacham. Even the small hats will say, how do you say, was Bethlehem? They'll say Bethlehem is Bayat Lacham. So they say it the same way. If you heard a small hat say Bethlehem, you would pick up on it. A royal deliverer shall arise, which is the Messiah. O daughter of troops, i.e., O invading army, daughter is a personifying phrase as in daughter of Jerusalem. Right, daughter of Jerusalem is talking about the sons and daughters of Jerusalem. When it says daughters of Jerusalem, it's talking about the woman. When it says daughter of Jerusalem, it's talking about us as a nation. Population of Jerusalem, most commentators think Jerusalem itself is referred to here. The troops being the crowds of frightened citizens, but this is contrary to usage. Troop being constantly used in a military sense. And that's true. Troop. Gad. Troop. He hath laid siege. An abrupt change of number, as in Isaiah 1:29, Assyria is the implied subject. This is Isaiah 1:29. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which you have. It's hard to see these. The letters is kind of light. You have desired, and you shall be confounded for the gardens that you have chosen. Oh, by the way, the gardens that you have chosen is following after other gods, because they did it secretly in the out there among the trees. Smite upon the cheek, a gross insult. It says the judge of Israel, i.e. the king, as in Amos 2 verse 3, and I will cut off the judge from the middle thereof, and will slay all the princes thereof with him, saith the Lord. The phrase is chosen partly to produce a king of Paranomisia in the Hebrew with the word for rod, and partly perhaps because the Lord, Yahawah, has already been called the King of Israel. Israel here means Judah, as in Micah 1:14. Therefore shall you give presents to Mostrathagoth, the house of Zib shall be a lie to the king of Israel. Okay, so now let's come back over here. It says, but thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little or insignificant among the thousands of Judah, the land of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel. That's obviously talking about Yahawashi, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting, because he's known as what? The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And he was here more than once. He was Melchizedek, he was King Solomon, he was Isaac. So now let me come back over here just to see what the commentators say. These commentators are hit or miss. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. So we're going to go to the second verse. There's a lot of information in on the second verse. I'm going to read this whole thing. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little, the Hebrew text, according to most scholars, requires a different rendering, art too small to breed. In other words, insignificant. But I want to get to this part. Let me see, thousands. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing. Anyway, we know it's Yahawah. We know it's Yahawashi. It's matter of fact, let me look at another one. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little, yet out of thee, whose going forth have been from old. They all agree that this is talking about the Messiah. The nativity of the governing of Israel evidently contrasts with an eternal nativity. The death. Let's try some others. We already know it's talking about the Messiah. Messiah is going to be born out of Bethlehem. Okay, out of thee shall he come forth, out of the tribe of Judah, and out of the city of Bethlehem shall he come, i.e., be born. Unto me, for to do that great work the Most High have designed to do by the Messiah. This is to be ruler, king, and sovereign in Israel amidst the Israel of the Most High, the whole Israel, as well that after the faith, as that after the flesh, the Messiah, the Lord, in the midst of them. So this is Micah 4 and 7. Can hardly see that. And I will make her that halteth a remnant. Goes on to say, the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from now on, even forever. Oh, wait a minute. That's a cut. That's it. Where you want me to start cutting? Inside joke. That's a cut for Bishop Nate. The great Bishop Nate. Let's actually go to that. That's Micah 4 and 7. I got to go back through this whole book of Micah. Peaceful latter days. Start at 6. And that day saith the Lord, I will assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her give me a second. And I will gather her that is driven out, is Israel, and her that I have afflicted, Israel, and I will make her that halteth a remnant, or a part of, and her, the Israelites that are going to be saved are the elect, which is a remnant of Israel, and her that was cast off, far off, to the other side of the world, or around the world, a strong nation. Most High is building this up, and Yahawah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. Let me go to the commentators on that one. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. This is talking about when our Lord comes, He's going to, let me see, the Lord Yahawah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. So how in the hell are God and Micah going to gather all the nations together and come up against us and knock down our walls? See, Bishop Nate know he messed up. Let me go into that. I'm going to open up another tab here. Matter of fact, I'll go over here. Go back to Bible Hub. See, Tahar, you're learning from these Edomites, man. The spirit ain't working. Nope, I'm just comparing to what they got to say. When Christians roll up and say, oh, you made that up, this doesn't mean this. Well, wait a minute, your Christian scholars say the same thing that we say. So how can we be wrong if they're right? Okay, Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. And I will make a remnant, i.e. I will what? I will treat Israel, the Israelites, national Israel, in spite of her halting condition, their sins, as because he shall turn ungodliness from Jacob, Romans 11. As so all Israel shall be saved, Romans 11, 25 and 26. As the remnant, or a part of, to which the Messiah, the messianic promises belong, because it belongs to the elect first, shall reign strictly, will have become king, i.e. will have assumed the royal functions. Assumed meaning to come into a place, finish what you're doing. Because when did he rule? Did Yahawashi ever rule? Yes, he ruled as Solomon for 40 years, 40 years of peace. His father ruled, but in war. He had to he had to sort out. Solomon didn't have to sort out. His name, Solomon, Shalamah, is a omen. It means peaceful. So all the nations around about the Israelites, they bowed down to this guy. They came to him seeking wisdom, and they gave him gifts. In the ancient world, the kings that showed honor to other kings, they gave him gifts. It says, strictly will have become king, i.e. will have assumed the royal functions. He was king as Solomon, and he's going to, like I said, from the death of King Solomon until now, the kingdom of heaven has been in pause. The kingdom of heaven is being built in front of the enemy's eyes. Ezekiel chapter 37, Revelation 11, just to name two precepts. These people in the land of Israel, the Jays, are looking to build the third temple. The third temple is being built before your eyes. And for us to come up, all nations got to be all mighty nations got to be destroyed. So Babylon is going to be destroyed. Gog and Magog is going to be destroyed. It says, i.e., will have assumed you lose your position, and you assume your position. Go back into your position. Somebody's deranked, then because of a heroic act, they're put back in their position. So they assume their position. The royal functions without the dubious intervention of a merely human representative, because he's going to be more than human. So let's read Isaiah 24 verse 23. See what that says. Isaiah 24 verse 23. Yeah, I remember this scripture. Then the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed when our Lord Yahawah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously. So we're going to reign gloriously, right? We're going to be super men and superwomen. We're going to be the X-Men. We're going to be extraterrestrial / angelic. So how in the hell can mortal man come against us? That was utter stupidity on the part of Bishop Nathaniel, and I know he's watching. You know you done fucked up. You know you done fucked up, Bishop. The Bishop. But we still love you because, you know, you're a lost soul right now. So we gotta pray. We're praying for you, brother. We'll leave the lights on for you. So this is Isaiah 50, Isaiah 52. Yeah, we were listening to Bishop Nate on the Saturday edification, anti-edification, and we were cracking up. He said, yeah, they're talking about us. They're talking about us. He's talking about us. Isaiah 52 verse 7. Let's see what that says. It says, how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of him that bring good tidings. Romans what is that? Romans 10 comes to mind. That's where Paul got that from. He's quoting Isaiah 52 verse 7. The ones with the beautiful feet are the prophets. That the most important man, the prophet is God's man, as Orson Welles had mentioned in the movie The Late Great Planet Earth. That publish peace. That publish peace when we go out there teaching. What I'm doing right now. That brings good tidings of good. Now, when you read, I believe it's Luke 4. When the Lord, he says, I bring good tidings, and the enemy's going to be, and he said, he closed the scroll, and he said, today this prophecy has been fulfilled. When he made that statement, he said, look, I'm the Messiah that publishes salvation and said to Zion, your God reigns. Because that's why they believed that, they said, oh, this is the Messiah, so he's going to take down the enemies, which is the Roman Empire. Well, they didn't understand there was two parts of the Roman Empire. We're in the second part of the Roman Empire. Ain't going to be no third part, Bishop Nathaniel. Okay, that's all I wanted. Let me come back over here. Read this again. And I will make her that halteth a remnant, that's Israel being saved by a small number, the elect, and her that was cast off, far off, which is Israel, a strong nation, that's in the kingdom, a strong nation, not a weak nation, a spiritual nation, an angelic nation, an extraterrestrial angelic nation. Like you have Halal, which is Superman. How many of y'all saw the movie The Man of Steel? That was the best Superman movie that they made. No, the second best. The first best was Brightburn. I don't know if y'all saw Brightburn, but you better watch Brightburn. That's the ultimate Superman movie. The second one was The Man of Steel. Could you imagine a whole nation of Kalels? The children, the women. The women are going to be spirit. They're going to be angelic extraterrestrials too. All right. You got a nation as the stars of heaven that cannot be numbered and measured as the sand of the sea. You got a nation of Kalels, of supermen, and ain't no kryptonite gonna get us. Ain't minus the kryptonite. It says, and that's an actual element on the periodic tables of elements. Kryptonite is an actual element, so they wrote that into the script. But that doesn't do nothing to Superman, you know. That's all myth. But that's an actual element, kryptonite. You can actually buy kryptonite. It says, and the Lord shall, matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can buy a kryptonite rock. It says, and the Yahawah shall, did you know that vocab since you a Superman, a superhero enthusiast? Did you know that? Did you know that? That kryptonite is an actual element on the periodic, whatever you call it, table of elements? And Yahawah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. So the Lord, so they're gonna tie up the Lord? Huh? Are they gonna do that? No, they're not gonna do that. So let's come back. Where are we? Okay, let's come back over here. The second verse again, Micah 5 verse 2. Micah 5 verse 2. But thou Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, meaning insignificant. Oh, that's a little town. Ain't nothing come out of there. Yet out of thee shall he come, the Messiah, forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Yashar'Allah, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting. That's why he's called the Alpha, the I and the Tha, the Alpha and Omega. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth, who's travailing here, have brought forth. That goes to, now this right here goes hand in hand with Revelation 12. Let me read that again, then I'm going to go to the commentary, then I'm going to go to Revelation 12. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth have brought forth, then, which is Mary, but it's talking about Israel, then, because we were under the Roman Empire, they were trying to, Herod wanted all the boy babies killed, 2 years old and under, because he knew that there was, because the Edomites are spiritual too. They believed in prophecies. That's the proof. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel. So now let me go to Micah 5 and 3. Micah 5 and 3. Let's see what it says. Okay, therefore, i.e., because the deliverance of Israel is to be a work of pure grace, and proceed himself Bethlehem, it is assumed that the family of David will have sunk down as low as that of Jesse originally was. Will he give them up? Yahawah will deliver Israel into the hands of his foes, and that's talking about the Romans. Yahawah will deliver Israel into the hands of his foes. She which travaileth, i.e., she who is to bear, probably through this is not quite free from doubt. That is an allusion to Isaiah's great prophecy of Emmanuel. Right, correct, they're right again. Isaiah 7 and 14. A prophecy vague a prophecy vague, it is true and open to various interpretations. No, it's not, but most likely referring to the Messiah. That's what it's talking about, the Messiah. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return, rather, and until the remnant of his brethren return, may be taken either in a physical or in a spiritual sense. If in the former, the remnant will mean the exile of Israel, right? That's by the Romans. Luke, what is that? Luke 21:24. Wherever they might be scattered. And where were they scattered? The scriptures say all over the world. So how can you say you black African Americans are not the people? Well, how can you say that when we're scattered throughout the world? That means you had Israelites scattered in Africa, and all throughout Europe, all throughout Central and South America, all throughout Canada, all throughout the Middle East. Like if you go to Iran, there's Afro-Iranians. You know, there's Punjabi people, there's Afro Mexicans, there's Afro Indians, Pakistanis. Some look like Puerto Ricans, Ephraimites, Dominicans. Some look like just like Jake. A lot of them Arabs got black, dark skin with woolly hair, look just like a regular Negro. So when you got somebody said, "Oh, I don't believe he's white. Jesus is white, but he's Arab, Middle Eastern." So I said, I'll add my response to be, which Middle Eastern are you talking about? Are you talking about a TV Arab or a real Arab? What's the difference? The real Arabs are black. The real Arabs are black with woolly hair. The ones that look more closer to Edomites, they mix with Elam. Yeah, they mix with Edom too. A lot of them Arabs are Greek babies, man. You got Arabs with blonde hair and blue eyes. What you talking about? Okay, so let me see. Return, it may be taken either in a physical or a spiritual sense. It was the physical sense, scattered throughout the whole world. So we're coming back with dry bones in the valley, which I wanted to go into. If in the former, the remnant will mean the exile of Israel. And when we were exiled, we lost our way. Like the Gentiles. When you read about the Gentiles having deliverance and being saved and the hope of salvation, it's talking about Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites. Cornelius was one of them. Timothy's father was another one. He didn't want to accept the fact that he was an Israelite, even though he was a so-called black man. They might be scattered, including those of the 10 tribes, because they were already over here. Look, when Cristobal Colon, the small hat from Spain, he's not Italian. Stop that bullshit. He's from out of Spain. You Italian? Yeah, he's a great Italian American, a great Italian. No, Cristobal Colon was a small hat from Spain. He was a Spaniard. If in the latter, because the 10 tribes, the northern kingdom was already here, it will refer rather to the Judean, which are Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and a sprinkling of the northern kingdom, who had escaped in the judgment. That's of the Romans. The return of the long lost tribes, and they're lost too because they didn't know who they were. They're waking up to the fact of who they are, and the thorough conversion of his own people were equally upon the heart of the prophets. So we're the prophets because we're telling people you are the Israelites. Ain't nobody being, that old chemic stuff has played the hell out, man. That's why Shaka Mo said, who killed Kemet, the Israelites, unto, or converted, because a lot of them were converted. Or if we explain return equals be converted. What does the word converted mean? Con meaning with, and vert meaning truth. Get with the truth. The truth is that you're the Israelites. You can't stop this train. You can't stop this train. You can't stop this movement, which is a spiritual movement. So now I kind of lost myself. I'm all over the place. So this right here, therefore, will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth have brought forth, then the remnant, the Israelites of his brethren, shall return unto the what? The children of Israel. So now what other precept comes to mind? Let's come over here. Let's go to Revelation. All right, let me come on this. So now when you go to Revelation 12, gave you a new precept. You can link it up with Micah 5. What was that? Micah 5 and 3. The woman, Israel. The red dragon. The male child. Even the blue-legged nose. The angel, Michael. They know that the Michael coming down to destroy this man, they know this is getting ready to happen. And they know who they are. So this is Micah 5 and 3. The woman Israel. We know that that's talking about Israel, right? It says travailing, right? Didn't it say that in Micah? As she being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. The woman represents Mary specifically, but it represents Israel as a whole. Remember the great slaughtering. You had the men of war of Herod. He had his men of war. The people that actually beat the hell out of our Lord was really the men of war of Herod. They had their own war, but the Romans were involved in that as well. The red dragon, Satan. No, the red dragon. Well, Satan just means adversary. Why is the dragon red? Why is Esau red? And he appeared another whether in heaven. So we know all about this. So this is Micah. This goes hand in hand with Micah 5 and 3. Let's come back to Micah 5 and 3. And so we know that this is talking about the time period of the Roman Empire when our Lord was born. He was born into the captivity of the Roman rulership. And he shall stand and feed in the strength of Yahawah, in the majesty of the name of Yahawah, his power. This is our Lord. And they shall abide, for now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. And he's getting ready to show his greatness to the ends of the earth, from one end of the heaven to the other. Matthew 24. He shall gather the elect. Consumed with the spirit of his mouth, which are the prophets, and the brightness of his coming, which is the destruction. And this man shall be the peace when the Assyrians, we know it's not talking about actual Assyrians. If you go to the commentary, they even say that it's not talking about the actual Assyrians. It's talking about someone else. The Assyrians is talking about the second leg of the Roman Empire. I'm not going to go all into that. I'll be here all day. Shall come into our land. Who came into our land? The Romans. So we know that Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, is also known as the Assyrians. How you know it's talking about the actual Assyrians compared to the new Assyrians? I'll say it depends on the context or the contexta. shall come into our land, that's the Romans. Remember, this book has to be written in code, and it was only given to a few. And when he shall tread in our places, who tread in our places? Stamp the feet with the residue? Does that tell you something? Give you a clue? Then shall we rise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. And that's talking about leadership. There's always leadership of prophets, and there's always with prophets. And by the way, the prophets went their way. They didn't look. The king didn't mess with the prophet. Now, you had one king that messed with Elijah, and what happened? What happened? He sent his 3 groups of captains in their 50, and the first 2 were destroyed by fire, and the last one came nicely. But Elijah was heated. He was going to kill it. He was going to send fire down on them too. But the angel came down. See, a lot of you don't mention that. The angel of Yahawah came down and said, look, don't call on fire, because we're going to have to make the fire come down to them at your command, at your will. Don't know ye not, ye shall judge angels. So the angel said, look, don't call fire on this guy. Just go with the king. See what the king has to say, all right? So Elijah said, okay. All right, since you said that, Lord, I'm with it. Because Elijah had a mean streak, and Elisha had a meaner streak than Elijah. That's how we know that Elisha was Ariah. We believe he was Ariah, because Ariah is the nicest guy in the world. He gave you the shirt off his back. When he used to hit the numbers. He hit the numbers. This is back in the late 80s, early 90s. He hit the numbers for 7,000, 10,000, and 10,000, 7,000 back then is like 70,000 today. 100,000. So I would hear that he hit the number, right? So I'd be looking for him to get some money out of him, right? Because if I had money, I would give. We would help each other, you know. But he would hit that. He would hit the numbers, right? He hit the numbers big, and then he would go up to Atlantic City and blow it inside of a week. He gets some woman could blow it inside of a week. So I'm like, where's Ariah? I heard he hit. I need some money, man. He said, man, Ariah up in Atlantic City, man. And when he come back, he had no money. And I'm completely myself. I have money. I'm not a guy that blows money. Like another one is Rawchaa. I guess he slowed down, but he likes to blow money too. So I look at him like that's Ariah's son, spiritual son. Anyway, back into this. It says, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod, that's Babylon, in the entrance thereof, thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian, and we were not delivered from the Assyrians. That was the Judah. Assyrians tried to take down Judah. They couldn't. They wound up taking down the northern kingdom. And there was the Babylonians, which are Assyrians, by the way. Because the 7 used to teach that the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, was a Babylonian. He was not a Babylonian. Nimrod was he was not a Hamite. He was not a Cushite. Nimrod was a Cushite. Nebuchadnezzar was an Assyrian. When he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders. And that's what the Babylonians did, but ultimately the Assyrians now is talking about the Romans. And the remnant of Jacob shall be, now that's talking about, this is getting ready to happen. From the 1st verse to the 6th verse, all that took place. So now we're going to go into this. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as the dew from Yahawah, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. You ain't going to stop it. You know what's happening now in New York City? you got Jakes just rolling up on cops, beating the shit out of him, man. And there was a report that I believe the count so far is like 350 police officers getting jumped on and getting the shit beat out of them. That's that Jake. It says, wait if not for the sons of man. The most I got a wild spirit on Jake. A wild, animalistic, crazy spirit on him. Oh, by the way, y'all guys can correct this. When you read about the king of Babylon, the Most High turned him into an ox eating grass and his body changed, it's just talking about he didn't cut his nails and he didn't shave himself, and he just grew a lot of hair, because they were probably hairy like Esau. So the scripture doesn't say that, but he was probably butt naked and he was walking around. The Most High put the mind of an ox in his head, but he didn't turn it. He didn't look like an ox. He just didn't cut his nails, you know. Because animals, dogs, they don't know how to cut their nails. You got to cut their nails for them. Or when they shit and they scrape the ground, they're cutting their nails. Certain dogs shed, right? Other dogs, you got to cut their hair. If you don't cut their hair, they got hair all over the place. So that's what happened with the king of Babylon. So you know, get that in your mind. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles of other nations, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flock of sheep. If you take one young lion, a mean lion that's hungry, and you put him in the midst of 100 sheep, he's gonna tear all them sheep up. Who, if he go through, that go through are the Israelites, a certain segment of Israelites. We're not to be involved in that as prophets. The man of the Most High must not, strive. Both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Most High gonna put a fear spirit in Jake, which it's already happening. The scriptures speak about them as being a wild bull in a net. Merely paraphrasing Isaiah. Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. This is getting ready to happen. And it shall come to pass in that day, which is in our time, saith Yahawah, that I will cut off thy horses, the enemy's horses, their power, out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, whether it be planes, whether it be buses, whether it be cars, whether it be trains. And I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds. How is he going to ultimately do that? Through the missiles, which is going to become a lake of fire. And I will cut off witchcraft, because Esau's power. When you go to Isaiah chapter 47 from the 10th verse on down, it tells you where their power is from. Their power is from the left-hand side. That's why when you make it in this system, you're an actor, you're a politician, or you're an athlete. You all got to go through those rituals, all of them. Floyd Mayweather is a warlock. LeBron James is a warlock. All right? All them famous Jakes that are multi-millionaires and billionaires, they all had to take that oath, you know? They all had to do things behind closed doors. Ain't no celebrities talking about they want to be an Israelite and stand on the corner and speak. Kendrick Lamar did that, and then they took him to the side and said, "Look, nigga, you ain't no Israelite." He said, okay, master, I ain't no Israelite. And I will cut off witchcraft out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. That's talking about Esau. That's the power structure of Esau, the elite. Thy graven images will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. Whatever you built, because all that's going to be destroyed. Malachi 1, the whole chapter. And I will pluck up thy groves, which represents the temples and the churches, anything that has anything to do with worship, out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities. Ultimately, the scriptures speak about the earth rocking back and forth. And I will execute vengeance, payback, in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Because the vengeance is going to come in the form of missiles. Go to the history of wars. There's never been a war so devastating as this war, because it's going to, but the weapons involved are going to be ICBM missiles. So anyway, I went a little long, but with that I'm going to say shalom.